Okay, this is it. The repair is made. It's all filled in. Put a plate across the top. There's one on the bottom on the inside you can't see. The side of it's ground flat because of this bracket that goes on it. It's not too pretty. It will work. It'll last, a couple seasons. Something else will break on it. I didn't do this video because I'm good at anything. I did it because there's a lot of guys trying to do homesteading and trying to, do different things. And one of the things that seems to strike me is that everybody thinks that you got to have a lot of stuff, you got to have a lot of tools, you got to have a lot of everything in order to do anything. And I've had a few of those welders. A couple of them burned up, a couple of them got borrowed and they never came back. That particular one I paid about 50 bucks for at a pawn shop because I couldn't find the one before that, and I needed to tack weld some steel plates on some steel columns so I could weld them up with a regular welder, with an arc welder. So there, there's a $50 tool. There's some vice grip pliers. You can get them on sale sometimes for like 10 bucks. They're nothing. Somewhere around here there's a clamp, grinder, a couple of grinders. If things are tight, you can always find that stuff at flea markets and garage sales for nothing. The acetylene bottles, they're kind of a bitch because they you have to have them recertified from time to time. But I made the investment, probably $150, $200, whatever they were, 20, 30 years ago on the regulators and bottles, and 20, 30 years later, they're still working. Welding helmet. Hell, I've had that thing since 30 years too. Gloves. Old Jeep jack, found it in a junkyard. But you can, with junk, you can keep things working. And there's little tricks. There's a lot of guys, you go on YouTube and see guys do it 100 times better than me. I mentioned, if you want to see it done right, look at PB Machines. That guy really is good. And you watch his videos and you really pick things up. I've worked as a maintenance mechanic in a factory. We welded forklift forks back together when the guys would break them. We built industrial ovens, welded all sorts of stuff together. Originally I learned how to weld in high school, and I've been welding since I was a kid. But these little things you pick up, and worst comes to worst, you do something like this and it does break, you're using it and it starts falling apart in the field, and well, now what? Well, I got this plate here and I can drill a hole here and bolt it together, top and bottom, and it's still working, and I'm still not out of business. So, and if I didn't have a welder or anything, I could have just used, plates and steel, and I could have made it work. This thing, the shape it's in, it's going to work. It's going to run all summer. If it was for sale, I don't think you'd get 500 bucks for it. But if it was in nice shape, you'd probably get, $2,500, $3,000 for it out in this area. But this $500 one, it works. It's been doing it since, well, here's a short story. That tractor and this rake, I was about 10 years old, stacking hay on the back of the hay wagon, and my uncle yelled at me to get off the wagon. I got off the wagon. He said, go get on the tractor. He showed me how to work it, and I started raking hay. And by the time the day was over and I was done, I thought I was ready for a combine crew out on the Great Plains. But that's how long this stuff's been laying around. And worst comes to worst, you try to fix it and it doesn't work. Guess what? It was broken when you started. So, big deal. Anyway, that's that. Started sticking that stuff back on and started burning my hands, so figured I'd do a wrap up. I'm wrapped up. I'm going to bolt this thing together and push it out in the field. And then next project is going to be, I don't know if you can see it, the rim rotted out and the tires inner tube sticking out. So that's going to be a project. Pulling the wheel off, breaking the tire down, and welding the rim back together, and then putting it all back together with the new tube. And that's a nothing. That's a little leak on the front tire. But you know, you can't get by with nothing if you got to. And that's why I made these videos. You know, you don't have much. You work with what you got. Go on YouTube, watch a video on how to do it. Buy the junk from the flea markets, the pawn shops, the garage sales. Put the stuff together and, you know, use it. You know, the first time you use a welder, it's probably not going to be, you know, a smashing success. But, you know, watch some videos on it, read the directions, read the manual for whatever you buy, and you'll figure it out. You'll get it. It's not that hard. You know, farmers with hammers can build stuff. You know, you can too. Anyway, that's that.